Hey everybody, welcome to homerecordingmadeeasy.com, visionrecordingstudios.com, and here on my YouTube channel. And today is another quick video that is kind of on the fly, impromptu. Again, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning here, and I'm just getting out of bed and I'm getting my day started. And I wanted to do a quick video and show you something about acoustic treatment. I've gotten probably 2 or 3 questions this week about acoustic treatment, and really the questions came in more specifically on I'm working in a small bedroom type situation for my mixing. It's like a perfect 12 by 12 room, and I'm getting all kinds of bass frequency problems. Mixes are not translating outside of the studio into other sound systems, and what would I suggest? And I always talk to people about the first thing I tell everyone when you're setting up a mixing room or environment for your home studio is, before you buy anything outside of maybe your computer and your recording softwares, you really want to get your room acoustically treated in a way that is going to help you when you're doing your mixing, to make sure that when you take your mix outside of your studio and you put it into another environment, that the mixes translate. And this is something that's overlooked by a lot of newbies. I've done a video about acoustic treatment probably a couple of years ago. It's out on my YouTube channel. It's in the archive. You can go search it. But today I just want to kind of show you my room setup, kind of show you from being behind the camera, showing you where my acoustic treatment is placed, how it's placed, and then more importantly, where did I buy it and about what did I spend on it. So for a room, you know, a 10 by 10 bedroom or a 12 by 12 room, something of that size, you could probably get away for, you know, less than 500 bucks. You can acoustically treat your room and not have to make all the treatment yourself. So I'm just going to walk you around the studio here again. This is all going to be handheld, not going to be real high quality here. Again, it's just kind of a quick on the fly video, and I hope this helps you. So let me turn the camera around and let me show you how I have my acoustic treatment placed in my room and show you how everything is kind of set up. Okay, so let me turn around the camera here. So the first thing I want to show you is I'm going to walk into the studio from here so you can see, and we're going to start with right in front of my console workstation, the Argosy workstation. So as you can see, as I'm walking in here, you can see that on the left and the right of this workstation, you can see that there are, and I'll move up or zoom in a little closer in a second, bass traps from the floor all the way to the ceiling, on either side, on the left and on the right side. So let's talk about the bass traps first. So the bass traps are made by a company called Acoustic Mac, and I will put the website address on the screen and also in the description. This company is out in Florida. They make custom sound acoustic treatment for all different shapes and sizes, for all different types of application. Go out and check them out. They're very affordable and they're very well made. And so when we start off with the bass traps in the corner here, and I'll move up here close so you can kind of see them. These bass traps are 24 inches across. They are corner bass traps, so they fit perfectly in the corners. And they are 48 inches high, I believe, each, or 36 inches high. I don't quite remember. And I have 2 stacked on top of each other, and they have brackets that screw to the back of them, and they are you know, attached to the wall, so they're easy to be taken on and off the wall, kind of like hanging a picture. These bass traps cost about $100 a piece at the recording of this video when I looked them up on their website. Again, they're 36 inches tall by 24 inches wide by 4 inches deep, and they're made in a way so they fit right in the corner. Now, this is covered in a fabric. Let me just kind of walk up here. This is just kind of a nice fabric, and the construction of the panels are made out of wood. They're made out of plywood with this nice fabric on the front. You can get these in all different colors. This happens to be burgundy to match my walls. And it is filled with rock wool. And you can also, as an option, have them fill it with Corning 703. And they also have an option for more eco-friendly stuff that's a little bit more money if you want. And these things are really, really durable. They're really, really well made. I'm not going to take it down and show you the back, but just trust me that they're made out of wood. They're filled with the rock wool, nice fabric on the front. Everything is stapled. Everything is nice and clean and neat. So I have 2 bass traps, one on the floor, and then I have another one stacked on top of it to the ceiling. So the first thing you want to make sure you do on either side of your workstation, let me move back here, is you want to make sure you have bass trapping in the corners. So if you're in a standard room, and this room is about, and I showed this in my last video, this room is about 21 from width, wall to wall width-wise. Okay, it's about 21, and from the front wall in front of the workstation is about 15. So if I pan around this way slowly, you'll see it's about 15 to the door where I was just standing a second ago showing you the room, okay? So it's about 21 by 15, okay? And I tried to take the, because the way this room is shaped, as you can see as I pan around to the left of the workstation, there's a room here, a vocal booth here, which kind of stores my guitars right now. And then there's like this little jog in the wall. It makes like a little cove where the drum kit kind of sits. And then on the right side of the workstation, you'll see again, there's no flat surfaces. There's like this other little cove. It's just the way this basement was shaped. So, it's not perfectly square, which is kind of helpful in this situation, and I'll explain why in a second. So the first thing you want to do is make sure, again, you have bass trapping in both corners from floor to ceiling. That's going to help you. On the wall, on the front wall here, you can see these diamond-shaped acoustic foam. These are made by Auralex. These are just, I believe they're 1x1s, or they're 2 feet? No, they're 1 foot by 1 foot squares that I just kind of use double-sided tape and just kind of put them in a diamond pattern to make them look, you know, somewhat interesting. Okay, and what that's going to do is that is going to knock down the higher frequencies, going to absorb some of the high frequencies reflections. Okay, so having bass traps in the corner and some foam on the front wall, this will help treat that wall. So this is the most important wall to probably treat, the one right in front of your workstation. You can also see that my monitors are sitting about 18 inches off the wall. Now you may not have this option depending on your workspace, but one tip that you may want to use is try to get the monitors not right up against the wall if you can help it, okay? Especially if your monitors happen to be ported in the back, which these are not. But you want to try to be away from the wall 12 to 18 inches if you can, okay? So that's another tip. So try to keep those speakers off the wall if you can. You can see here, if I go behind the desk here, you can see it's about 18 inches. I got them positioned perfectly in, so when I'm sitting in the chair here, where my hand kind of is, I'm sitting right in the sweet spot. You want to make sure that the center of your monitors, from cone, center of that cone, to the center of that cone, the distance between whatever that measurement is should be the same from the cone to the side of your head sitting in the sweet spot. So if you want to build that perfect triangle, that sweet spot, you want to make sure that your speakers, the distance between the two speakers is the same distance from your head to one of those speakers, if that makes sense. So you build a perfect triangle. That is the sweet spot. Okay, so that's going to help you too. You want to make sure you're sitting on a flat surface like this wall-wise, and you want to make sure that you have your monitors positioned in a way that you have that perfect triangle. Bass traps, floor to ceiling, some acoustic foam on the wall in front to block the high frequencies or absorb the high frequencies. You could also use bass traps, I suppose, on the front wall if you wanted to, but it's cheaper to use these Auralex foam, a lot cheaper. Okay, now because we talked about, again, this room is not a perfect square. Because I have a kind of a closet here, where the door's open, and because I kind of have this jog here on this side, I don't have what's called the first reflections. And first reflections is where you're sitting in your chair here, and if you had a solid wall right here, the sound will bounce off that side wall and hit you in the ear, and you would normally put some sound absorption on the side walls directly left and right of your sitting position. But I don't have that problem because of the way this room is shaped. Okay, but what I do have, if we start over here in this little jog, I did put a bass trap in here. Again, this is made by Acoustic Mac as well. This is a 24 inch by 24 inch by 4 inch cube, made just like the bass traps, made out of the same material with the rock wool. That's about a $70 bass trap here in the corner because we have this like little cove here. We want to absorb the frequencies. I have these pictures on the wall where you don't want, you know, sound reflecting and bouncing around. So I got a bass trap in there. I got some more foam down here and a couple more Auralex diamonds over there, you can see. Okay. Then if you were to swing over to the left side of the workstation where the drums kind of sit again in this little cove here, this is where bass can really build up here. So I'm using just some standard Auralex bass traps, the foam ones, because I had them laying around from my old studio, so I didn't purchase new ones just because I wanted to try to reuse what I already had. Okay, and again, some more Auralex foam here on the wall, just kind of, you know, laid out in an interesting design. Okay, all this stuff you could pick up online pretty inexpensively. And then some more bass trapping down here, again, from floor to ceiling, so we don't get any bass buildup in this little cove, I call it, this little pocket in in the room, as you can see it. Okay, and then I have a couple of pieces of foam up here on the ceiling in that little cove to kind of, again, kind of deaden the sound a little bit, keep the, kind of absorb some of the sound from bouncing all around inside this little pocket. Okay, so that's what I'm doing on this side. And again, this is all just Oralex foam in this little cove here. Okay, now when we get to the back wall, what you'll see is I have a door here which goes out to the other room. Please excuse the mess. I'm rearranging for all my my band stuff here. But what you can see here behind this guitar cabinet is you can see 3 more of these bass traps, 1, 2, 3 on the wall. Again, those are the 24 by 24 by 4 that I just mentioned, the same thing that's over here on this wall. I put over here on this wall, and I put 3 of them on this back wall. Because until I had all this equipment here, for my band, this was just an open space, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't have sound bouncing off the back wall and coming back and hitting in the center of the room. So I put these 3 bass traps up, again, made by Acoustic Mac. Okay, and then there's a window above it, and there's some curtains on the window here to kind of absorb the sound. And behind the curtain, there's a glass window, and there's actually, let me see if I can move this so you can see it. Yeah, and sorry for the bad camera work here. Okay, here's just to block, there's a window here that looks into the other room. I just put up a piece of acoustic foam here behind the curtain again, just to make sure we have no sound bouncing off the back glass, even though we have kind of these are like kind of bamboo curtains. They're not really a soft material, it's a little bit more of a rigid material. So I put this foam behind it and hid it behind the curtain so you can't see it. And it works out really well. Okay, so it just kind of closes up like that, so I have that here. And then on this door, that when I close this door, again, this is just a wooden door, so I covered it in some 1-inch, which looks to be, this is kind of like a denim material. It's like a recycled insulation material. It's a soft denim material. I should probably put a bass trap on here. It looks kind of ugly like this, and I cut out a hole for the door handle. I know it's kind of a, it's not the most pretty thing in the world, but I'll tell you what, it works. So again, you don't want to have any flat, hard surfaces directly behind your workstation, right? You want to be able to absorb that. So I put some insulation here on the door, and that helps as well. And then in the corners in this back wall, I forgot to show you, hopefully you can see this. Again, I have some more Oralex bass traps here in the corner behind that PA speaker from floor to ceiling. There's the same Oralex bass traps, the foam ones that I showed you behind the drum kit. And then also along between the drop ceiling and the wall, you can see that foam up there behind the lights, the Christmas lights. Again, Oralex bass traps. Okay? So there's a lot of bass trapping in this room in order to absorb everything. So I don't have any of those bass buildup or any of those, anything that really sounds muddy or sounds really boomy. It sounds really, really well in here, or really, it's tuned really well. And then finally on this wall here, again, another bass trap by Acoustic Mac. This is a 48-inch by 24-inch by 4-inch. Again, just a perfect square. Again, just to kind of cut down on the reflections. I could have used acoustic foam here, but I had this bass trap from my old control room, so I just put it up on this wall. Okay, so if you look around again the room, if I come back here, and I kind of show you again, bass traps in the corner, some foam on the front wall, a bass trap in that little cove over here, with some more foam beneath it, a bass trap on this hard surface. Then we go to the back wall, we have bass trapping above the window, bass trapping in the corner, bass trapping along the back wall, okay? Some recycled denim type of a foam panel, which seems to work. Nothing in this corner because I always leave this door open. This goes into our kind of little lounge area here. So I don't close this door, because if I close that door when you're mixing, now you have these 2 hard metal doors here. You can have some bass issues here too, so you could put a bass trap there, but I typically just leave this door open so nothing kind of gets trapped in this corner. And then again, behind the drum kit, all Oralex bass trapping from floor to ceiling on either side, some acoustic foam, and then also some on the ceiling. And that's pretty much it. And again, I always leave this door open. This is kind of a vocal booth slash, right now it's housing all my guitars. Again, I leave this door open when I'm mixing again, so the sound doesn't bounce off the door and come back into the mixing position, if that makes sense. So again, acoustic treatment, super important. Again, go out to acousticmac.com if you want a resource to buy your stuff from. They make really great stuff at a real reasonable price. And everything can be custom made. You can have very specific sizes and shapes that you need. They will custom make stuff. But these are just the standard off the shelf bass traps, again, for like $100. And the smaller cubes are like those here. Those are like $70. So again, not a ton of stuff. And for the floor and the ceiling, just so you know, this is a concrete floor that's been painted, and I have some area rugs here. There used to be carpet, full carpet down here, and I had it got damaged, and it got wet, and it really started to stink. So I pulled it all up, and I just painted the concrete, and I just put some area rugs around. And although there's a little more echo than what there used to be, again, I don't have any issues. And the ceiling is just a standard drop ceiling. Some people would put maybe a cloud above the mixing position, but I don't really need it. These are just acoustic tiles, and they seem to work well, and there's insulation above that between the ceiling and the floor upstairs. So again, acoustic treatment, super important. Hopefully this was helpful to the people that wrote in and asked me about what can you do to solve some of the problems where your mixes don't translate. I can tell you that when I mix in this room, I don't even need to go check it in the car anymore. This room sounds, it translates really well. So in other words, what I'm hearing from a low end perspective in this room is absolutely accurate, and a lot of that, almost all of that, has to do with the fact that I have everything acoustically treated with all these bass traps. And another trick, another tip, as I'm thinking out loud here, is if you are having an issue, also try to mix at lower volumes. I've talked about this in some other videos, where you don't want to mix at a real high volume level. Number one, it's going to fatigue your ears, and it's going to make it harder for you to make good judgments with EQ. And secondly, you'll have more reflections bouncing around the room. So if you mix at lower volumes and then do some acoustic treatment, even if you do something on a smaller scale than what I have here, you should be fine. And again, check everything on different sources. You can check your mixes on headphones, check them on earbuds, check them out in the car. But if you really want to reduce some of that having to double and triple and quadruple check your mixes, acoustically treat your room. That is the secret to making your mixes translate. So I hope this was helpful. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please go out to Facebook and like the Facebook page. And as always, for more tips, tricks, concepts, and training around everything home recording, be sure to head out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. And until the next video, this has been Dave with homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and I will speak to you guys all soon. Take care.